The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, it's Drew Powell, Butch from TV's Gotham, and you are listening to the Showdown Podcast.
The Showdown Podcast presents the Survivor Series with Corey Miller, Vic Miller, Brad Scott, and special guest Cult Cinema Cavalcade. This week's episode, The Last Dragon. This is the 3-time award-winning Showdown Podcast. I am joined, as always, by Corey Kiss My Converse Miller.
Hello.
And Vic Shogun of Harlem Miller. And I am Brad
Show enough.
Daddy Green's Pizza Scott.
Daddy Greens.
This
Point
is the
your pizza
award-winning
to Daddy
Showdown.
Green's Pizza.
Yeah. I smoke a lot of weed. That's that joke.
Oh,
And this is a special episode
yeah, it is.
because we are not the only ones trapped in the confines of Corey's
Evil layer.
kitchen / the Miller Zoo
Slash
aquarium. We are joined by the host of the Cult Cinema Cavalcade podcast, Brandon Peters.
Hello. Hopefully it's a special episode and not that episode.
And Colin Bricker.
I think you mean the episode everyone loved.
There you go.
This
Hi-
is the
hi,
one we're
Sugar.
counting to spike the ratings.
Brad, do you remember what show we're on?
Yeah, so put on your A game.
Oh,
All right, boys.
We're
we
looking
gotta-
at you, Corey.
We're playing to an audience this week, so.
A game. I never even read my C game.
Oh, god damn it.
This is like vaudeville.
C
this is how
game?
they came up with vaudeville.
That's
It's a bunch of
exactly
guys
right.
Hold
just
on,
sitting around a table.
hold on, Colin. Hold on. Brought your C game. I know you couldn't hear it, but this asshole dropped the most obvious, hackiest joke right after I said, bring your A game. I'll even bring my C game.
He doesn't even bring a C.
That's right. You saw him put away
What's he
his
bringing?
C
What-
before the
what-
show started.
what's he bringing?
Fine. Totally fine.
That's what that slurping noise was
That's
over
right.
He brings snacks.
He brings snacks.
That's what he brings.
there. If you look behind you, there is a 5-year supply of candy.
And the laptop.
I just bring underscore game.
Nice.
It's multiple
What is
choice.
he doing?
Choose your own adventure.
At points I'll be at my A game, and at some I'll be at my D. So I
Yeah,
can't really...
that's generally where I'm at, really. but yeah, you guys are your guys' show is the Cult Cinema Cavalcade. Tell everybody a little bit about it.
Well, we're a podcast that talks about movies similar to yourself, but we pick B movies and weird sequels and kind of strange stuff, and
Yeah.
we try to go like obscure a lot of times
Yeah.
too, just to like introduce people to stuff that maybe isn't being talked about on a lot of podcasts. It might be hard to find, but if you
Yes.
listen to our podcast,
Like our first episode was The Wizard of Speed and Time.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever heard of
No.
that movie? No. Exactly.
the way we do our podcast, sometimes it's better to just listen to us and not watch the movie.
Yeah,
I
sometimes,
mean,
yes. With the Ewok movies, we've been told,
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you for doing the episode. Now I don't have
Didn't
to
have
watch
to
those."
revisit it. Thank you.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, so what was one of your favorite ones to do?
Hard Ticket to Hawaii is like a
Hard,
classic.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii is awesome. Maybe Dangerous Men might be
Dangerous
my
Man was
favorite.
great. It was like a huge build up for that because we had heard about this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then it took forever. I was just waiting for like the Blu-ray to come out or something like that because they did some screenings around and we just never could get to one. But it finally came on Blu-ray and it was like an episode we've been just like dying to
Oh,
get
yeah,
at,
yeah.
and we probably watched it like 2 to 3 times a piece just to prep for that one episode. And it's an amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's
is.
this movie that no one knew about for so long, and this guy shot it over like almost like 22 years or something. He started in
I
late
don't know,
70s, and
It spans multiple decades, literally. they got some money together, and then oopsie doopsie, we ran out of money, and then they go on hiatus for like 5 years.
at some point, the lead actress quit the movie.
They didn't have enough GoFundMe.
With like 10
They
years
needed
left.
GoFundMe.
Yeah.
That's right. They had to create GoFundMe to do
The
this.
guy's name was John Rad, who made the movie.
Yeah.
And that's not his real name. It's like a name he was covering to hide from like some Afghani mafia or something.
Yeah,
like
I think he was Israeli. I think maybe.
Something, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the lead actress quit the movie. What do they do with the rest of the movie?
They change it. I mean, it changes hands who's the lead person like 3 times in the movie.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
there will
yeah.
be scenes
Wait,
where
is it like
people
the
in
same
the 90s are
character
getting
though?
chased.
Is it like the Becky's on Roseanne?
No. Just halfway
No,
through
no, no.
F it. No.
There are scenes where like 1970s cop cars will be chasing after somebody in the 90s. And just like trying to fit the footage together. It's amazing.
And if you ever wondered what more of a bad actor Stan Lee could be, check it
yeah.
out. There's a guy that looks like Stan Lee in this movie.
He becomes the main character of like the last 5 minutes. The movie, it's not really a spoiler, but the movie, one of the best things I heard about, the movie ends on a freeze frame with 3 people who were just introduced in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah.
They're like,
the
we
big
need someone to put in
finale.
this film. Grab the guy from craft services.
Yeah. And for the score,
No one in the movie has been in the movie longer than like 30 minutes from the end.
Yeah.
Period.
and the score, John Rabb was like, Seinfeld, I like that, like bass, like bass.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
Was it a 3 Wise Men production?
Hey now.
The basis for Bully 3.
They need to Bully 2 first.
Yeah, we need Bully 2 first.
That's kind of the point.
But as Brandon said, I think it was in this one that it makes your brain hurt, but in a good way.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, it's kind of got
Fascinating.
the incompetence of like a Troll 2 and a Miami Connection, but to a whole new level.
Oh yeah, yes, they found new ways.
They found a way. There's always something worse.
I think one of my favorites that you guys did was the whole month of November.
Oh, the Neil Breen, yes.
Yes,
The what?
The Neil Breen episodes were when you would play the clips in there. I'm just like, oh man, this sounds so bad. I have to watch it.
You see Corey fangirling over you? You see this? You see this happening right in front of her eyes, Brad?
I'll take it. I appreciate it. I love it.
Oh, appreciate
It's
it.
called an interview, bitch.
And you know nothing about
This
it.
is,
So
the,
shut up.
this is the B+ game.
That's right.
He's pulling out his best because you guys are here.
Yeah. No,
He's never sat up at the table before.
Yeah. He's usually on the phone. So yeah, if imagine the worst director that you can think of. Now multiply that by a number impossible for a human being to configure. That's Neil Breen's directing ability.
People will go, oh, Tommy was the room, like watching Neil Breen.
It's amazing.
Because there's 4 of the rooms, 4 better, like almost better, worse than the rooms, more amazing. And this guy's genuine. He's not latching on to some like, oh well, I intended it to be funny, and like after everyone embraces
Yes,
it. No,
yes.
and we tried to get Neil Breen on the show, and he rejected us.
Yes. each movie is Neil Breen fan fiction. It's
They
fantastic.
are. Like he's got his shirt off in everyone. He has to make out with like 3 girls that just don't want to. You can see in
Moderately
their
attractive
faces.
women.
They're like fading away from him.
Yes,
Sounds like my hero. Sounds like our
more
president.
like your grandpa. That's about your greasy
exactly.
dyed hair grandpa. That
Yeah.
Again, sounds like our president.
Yeah. Comes up rubbing Latinas for some reason, and only Latinas. Makes no sense.
I think Neil Breen's hair is real.
Yeah.
I would think, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So we got you guys on here. Vic had picked this movie, and we thought it was perfect for what you guys do.
I think so.
And it's The Last Dragon. So normally at the beginning of the show, we like to talk history.
We
You'll
thank
have
you
to
for
give
letting
me a
us
moment.
debarge in on your podcast.
Oh,
Bam!
wow. Ba-doom, boom.
Man, uppercuts.
And now, the Showdown Podcast history. Corey, what is your history with The Last Dragon?
I've seen this several times over the years, and I don't remember exactly the first time I saw it, but I'm sure it was when I was in my 30s.
So the 60s?
Yeah.
Vic?
So this.
The Last Dragon is it's just awesome. I've watched it so many times. It's a big part of my childhood, and that's why I picked it.
All right, way to keep the suspense on what you're going to be voting for.
This could be a haunting vision of the past for you. Who knows?
You have no idea.
I remember when I was the last dragon.
I had the glow.
My history of The Last Dragon is I once, when I was in college, I worked at a place called Circuit City, so your young listeners are like, what? Best Buy, but red. And like it came out like on DVD, and it was like in the cheap section, but everybody was like, oh, you got Last Dragon. I was like, what is this? And I never really checked it out until I do Blu-ray reviews for a site called WhySoBlue.com. Came by me, and I watched it then. I watched it one time after, and then this will be my third time watching it. For this.
All right, Colin.
This is my first time watching the film. I've heard of it, but I'd never actually taken the dive. And I vaguely remember Busta Rhymes dressing up as Shonuff
Yep.
in a music video. And that's about all I know about the Hidden or the Last Dragon.
And that is the same for me. I saw it for the first time this afternoon. This has been the Showdown Podcast History. All right. Vic, the 1985 martial arts fantasy film Last Dragon. It was we got to do our new segment, Corey's Guess.
Oh, yes, I almost forgot.
Okay. So,
yes.
this is a game we like to play with Corey because he's really old and dumb. And, because we give him the budget, and then he has to guess what the box office return is listed on Wikipedia.
Okay.
And, we have to remind him the year and stuff, because to him, movies, it was a nickel, and then you got a popcorn for a penny. So
and I took my best girl with me. Yeah.
Have you ever had a phosphate before? Oh my god!
You'd go up get some peanut brittle at the counter. That's if she was a gal.
They still had that monkey running outside the building.
We usually go with a racist avenue there.
Usually,
but we want to break you guys in easy.
Okay.
I got to
Maybe-
sit in the front seat.
Maybe on the flex. So, Corey,
Yes.
budget
Okay.
was $10 million. Released March 22nd, 1985
Okay.
from TriStar Pictures.
Does it say how many theaters it was in?
No, but it does.
Nope, we've never given that information before either.
I know,
so.
and I've never
Would
asked.
that have helped you?
Maybe. Maybe.
Can you use it in
Who's
No.
trying to
Unless
uncover
it's
a
like,
secret?
unless it's like 8
Can you
theaters.
use it in a sentence?
It's like
Like-
blowing the magic whistle in Mario 3. What the hell does this do? And he doesn't do anything.
I'm going to say it made $3 million.
What?
So you say
Oh.
-7.
Good
Yep.
God.
That's why it's the Last Dragon.
All right, let's
Somebody not prepared?
I have the answer.
25 million.
25.7.
Wow.
So you are off by 22.7.
Yeah. I think this is the running theme, though. I'm always way off.
You can't just play the game of I'm always over, I'm always short. You're supposed to try.
And if you weren't doing that, you don't tell the audience.
Well, hey, at least you guys
Just
can catch
sadder.
him before he starts to Price is Right,
No,
$1.
I'm just saying.
Way
I'm
to look
being-
behind the curtain, bitch.
I'm just saying.
Thanks for joining us on the final edition of Corey's Picks. It was fun for the 3 episodes that lasted. He's already making...
Next week, Corey, who was in this?
We got to find something that'll work for him.
That's right.
All right, Vic. Now that he's ruined it, tell us about The Last Dragon.
After I stop laughing at Corey. So this is set in New York City. It's about never really gives you his age, but he's in his 20s. Apparently, they're kind of successful. If I'm watching this movie correctly, his family has a pizza shop. He has his own dojo, and I'm supposed to believe that they're a poor family in New York City.
Well, he also I know they're trying to play him off as like has inner peace, but a
Yeah.
lot of times he just comes across really downsy.
Yeah,
Like he comes across like with the hat doesn't help.
Well, I mean, one thing with him in the movie, when you start watching it, they don't introduce his family till late.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this guy might be way younger than I think they're trying to. Like, he's young, but then I'm like, well, maybe he's really young. And then they have his relationship with Vanity, and I'm like, is she a little too old for him?
Right.
He's like, because I'm like, he could be 16 maybe.
But then you have to think, how old is his little brother?
Well, his brother's not 16.
Well, I know, but you're
Gross little
But to
brother.
be
yes.
fair, he
Oh
could
my
be
God.
16 or 60. 'Cause blacks don't crack.
I mean, yeah, there you go.
I was like, is it like Tamak or whatever his name
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
Like, it's 16 to 25 maybe is where we could pass
And
it
he
with the
may-
possibility of an old 50.
He may be related to Stacey Dash.
Sure, yeah.
But this his character related. His name's Leroy. He acts like he's never been to New York City.
Right.
And then you find out his family. They're like, he lives in New York.
Yes.
He's grown up there all of his life.
It's like Short Circuit 2, but with a black karate guy.
Short Circuit 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yes, exactly.
They just mixed the movies.
There's just as much dancing. Sure, why not?
So the movie starts off with him going through martial arts training with his sensei, who is firing live arrows at him as he practices in the dojo. And he is successfully deflecting them out of the air until he finally catches one as he face pummels a giant man doll. And the guy's like, "How did you know it was the blue one?" He's like, "I don't know." He's like, "Neither do I." And that's the end of that statement.
I didn't understand.
That's how
that.
he knows. It's
like,
he's ready.
How did you know it was a blue one? Okay, why?
Yeah.
He didn't tell him ahead of time. If you got to catch the blue one.
Well,
I was waiting for that to the entire movie.
That conversation apparently happened well before they started filming. It was kind of like us recording. There's a lot of stuff that Corey cuts out.
Yeah.
There will be 8 inside jokes that no one at home will get. That's just for the 5 of us.
I'm just glad his pants are back on.
Speaking of inside jokes,
Yeah. Yeah, the movie opens with some sweat and some skin. That's for sure.
Exactly. So he talks.
Hold on. We didn't mention that it opens with a music montage. How often do you see that?
Well,
Right in the middle.
yeah, usually he needs to go through a breakup or a loss in karate.
Comes through
He'll
self-
need to speed us up on his skills.
self-realization.
They're like, when did the Karate Kid come out? Was that after
84. This was a year. No,
Yeah.
this is definitely Black Karate.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. That
The only thing they were missing was Mr. Miyagi.
they're like, you've already seen all that shit, so we're just gonna start from here since you already know what happened in Karate Kid.
Well, like with a hero with 1,000 faces, there's a mentor role and someone coming into a greater world role, whatever. And that's what he didn't have in this at all. Like he was his own master, literally, and he didn't even know it. So
Right.
That's the whole movie.
He's like, you paid me all this money to learn martial arts, and you were the master the whole time. Thank you. Bye. I'm leaving.
Dances off with his money into Florida.
So he gets done with his training. He talks to his sensei, senpai, master, whatever the hell you want to call him, and he explains to him that he's looking for the glow, and he gives him a medallion that's supposed to empower him to go and find the master that will help him finalize his training. And he gives him this long speech about how the circle is completed. I thought we were going into Lion King for a second, and then he left. So he proceeds home, and I think at that point that's when they show the club, right?
Oh man.
You mean he's on his way home?
Yeah, he walks by there. Yes.
He's on his way home. He takes a long way home, and he goes past the seventh heaven, where we are introduced to Vanity, who is very vain and singing to herself. It looks like he's singing to that gigantic screen that keeps showing just her face on it. So she's literally like courting herself, and she has her whole what would you call them? What'd she call them? Her clouds. Whatever they were, she had a name for them. They were her believers, and they were up there, singing and dancing, and hanging out. And
I don't know.
We find out that his little brother and his buddies are all in there, and apparently snuck in, and he's in love with her too. So there's your love triangle for the story.
A 13-year-old and a
Is this where
16-year-old
they played
and a
Rhythm of
20-year-old.
the Night right there?
Yeah,
at the beginning? Well, I thought it was funny. They played Rhythm of the Night, which everybody knows, and I'm sure you were like, "Oh wow, that's from this movie" when you first watch it, and it's great. And then she follows it up with a song
That makes
terrible.
nothing. Like
It,
it's just,
kills
just,
it.
just like talking
You're
about
like, all
shit.
right, yeah, Last Dragon, we're gonna.
Yeah, you got to
was
put
into it though.
You got to put some Lionel Richie on or something, you know?
She came from the ceiling. She came down through the lights. Like it was all kinds of.
Vanny's gorgeous, but that song was.
and let's not forget that we had a cameo by William H. Macy, who comes in and says, you've got to put this one guy's girlfriend
Eddie
on.
Arcadian's girlfriend.
Put her video, show her video, and she didn't want to do it.
I was amazed. Like William H. Macy is one of my favorite actors, and I completely forgot he was in this.
I had no idea.
I was like, "That's William H. Macy."
Yeah.
And then it was one day shooting. It's like, and that's a wrap for W. Macy.
Yeah. Like he was also just one of those people that I thought he was born 40 years old. So it was weird to see him
you
that
see
young.
him young. You're like, "Wow, he is." I thought he got into this late in life.
Yeah,
He's allowed to have that. Wow.
He apparently just took him a while to get revved up, So they go through. She goes through her song, and she meets the little brother and blows him a kiss, which she had pre-programmed. I'm guessing in her whole thing. I guess someone asks for a kiss all the time, and then she leaves. And as she's leaving, she gets bumped into by a bunch of thugs that work for Eddie Arcadian.
Well, she gets in the limo. It's a different driver, and he takes her to the wrong place.
Right.
And ends up getting dragged out of the limo.
Right.
And then that's when Leroy comes up and starts beating up everybody.
Now, Leroy had actually seen her as she was getting into the limo. He caught her eye. Mm-hmm. He saw her and instantly fell in love because he was sprung. And she looked at him and was like, "Oh, this odd-looking black guy in a fucking sun catcher and a kung fu outfit. He's awfully cute." She was like, I'm going to sling my thing at that one right there because that's a catch. I don't understand it.
You know what I wanted to call him through the whole movie? Braden.
Black Braden.
Black Raiden. Or Ray Raiden.
Oh my God, that'd be so fun. He just moonwalks everywhere. He can't walk forward.
Right.
Tyroden.
There's going to be one more. There has to be.
Why are you going to do that to me, Vic?
Because of pressure.
I already gave 3.
That's all you get.
So
rule of 3, Vic.
They drive off, and they stop, and the guys try to pull her out of the car for whatever reason. Instead of just jumping in the fucking car.
Jamalden. There's your 4th.
They try to yank her out of the car to put her back in the car. Makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't another car waiting. They were literally pulling her out of the car to put all those guys in the car for whatever reason. So
Safe gas.
He shows up. He comes down the street because apparently they only went around the corner. So he happened to walk around the corner at the same time and kicked all their asses ridiculously.
Which is cool.
Because apparently none of those guys could fight except for the one black guy who also somewhat knew martial arts. He threw a couple kicks and then got his ass whipped too. And they pulled her out of the. She got pulled out of the car. They drive off with tails between their leg, and he disappears after he calls her a cab and helps her pick all of her shit up from her purse. He calls her a cab and disappears, and no one sees him going because he's like a fucking ninja apparently. So she sees his medallion. She picks it up and takes it with her, figuring, man, if he left this, then maybe he'll come back. That's why chicks leave their shit in your house when they leave in those one-nighters. So maybe that's what that was all about. And they take off.
I've had girls do that. I'm just like, well, looks like you lost some shit.
Sure, I can use a cell phone charger for a phone I don't have.
Sure.
The driver's like, well, did you see where he went? Oh, yeah, he's right.
I lost track of him, too. Look at that.
I mean, she doesn't even think that maybe he has dementia. I mean, it's a possibility.
It's like, did you see what that kid was wearing?
Oh, my pills.
I don't think he dresses himself. You didn't catch me. You catch me. Try to catch me on everything else. The movie theater. Was that before or after?
That was before.
Well before.
That's where we introduced to Showing Off.
I think Vanity went through her first night at the show without getting kidnapped. I think
Yes.
she did that.
Yes.
She will get kidnapped multiple times or attempted to in this movie. But
We're just being introduced to the neighborhood.
Worst kidnappers ever.
Oh, God, it is the most... there are people that don't go to the theater and they think that's what a theater is like. This, everyone's just screaming and throwing shit.
Dude, that was New York. Is it that street? What's it? Oh gosh,
40s,
where they had all the grindhouse porn theater stuff like that's what watching a movie there was like. 80
yeah, whatever.
I've never been to
Street.
New York.
Yes,
So.
yeah, sure.
It's now Times Square, Manhattan. But
42nd Street.
42nd Street. Yeah,
thank you.
this is where the theaters were like. People would get stabbed in
Victory
them.
Theater.
People would get robbed, and you just go to watch some like grindhouse, like you like get a like cannibal movies.
You have a
get
big black
porn.
guy in a Shogun outfit
Yeah.
show up with all of his buddies to kick someone's ass.
It was a raucous crowd. I mean,
Asian guy jumps out of the balcony.
this pretty much just represents it for the time. Though.
Yeah, that was just. But they also had a boom box.
Yeah, the random guys that got up and started
No,
doing
dude,
breakdancing.
people brought their laundry and stuff. Like, read up about this.
God.
People bring like their laundry there. They bring like whatever. And some people would just go because it was air conditioned in the summer.
Well, I believe that.
And
But
it's nuts. Like all the stuff that happened. People get hand jobs in the back.
well, I believe that too.
Movies, like-
Sure.
Well, that's just about
Yeah.
any movie theater these days.
How do you think Corey put himself through college? Jerking off guys in the back of the
You started early,
of
and
the
he earned
Victory
it.
Theater.
His large popcorn bucket had a hole in the bottom of it.
Sure.
And extra butter.
I saw
afterwards
I
you-
saw like 3/4 of ET.
And after you're done, you get a salty snack.
Ouch.
So
yeah, we
He was talking about the theater scene. I had a point to make about that too. But
No, go do it. I want to hear this point.
I just like the theater scene is one thing that stuck as its own for me. With we'd been introduced to Leroy Green or Bruce Leroy,
Yeah.
and when they have the scene of Shonuff coming and confronting, and everybody's standing up for each other, like he comes up, he's this black guy in kung fu outfit, but then look at all the people in the theater, and you get a trans, you get crazy black people. I'm like, these are the people he's the hero for because he's such like an outsider. He represents like their hero to them, and I thought that was like a really cool kind of moment within there. That's like a little too early in the movie.
Until he started tiptoeing over the back of the chairs to leave.
Yeah, until he kind of
fuck
snuck
you,
out.
dude.
I'm like, he could be like the hero of these people.
Right.
Like that's what he represents, just being who he is. But
the movie has a weird thing where like he's obviously a badass martial artist, but you're looking at him like, dude, he's a fucking pussy, and he's like, you think he's gonna do something, and then you're like, nope. We know he can, but he's not going to.
Soft spoken.
Well, and not only that, they haven't.
Michael Jackson it real hard.
They didn't establish him as being like this big hero, the savior. It's just like when the kid's like, "Oh, that's him down there," or whatever, and then it's like, "What? Well, he hasn't done anything."
He's
Why are
apparently
you
a
pointing
neighborhood
him out?
legend, but he's a neighborhood legend apparently, so he has to have done something.
That'd be so interesting if like the bad guy of the movie really wasn't a bad guy. He just hated the main character. Like he's a good guy, but he's just a dick to him. Like, why can't they just get along?
Eating your popcorn with chopsticks. Come on.
You're my enemy for life. I would love that.
I probably would have hit that guy too. This guy's sitting there with chopsticks eating popcorn. That's a little too much.
What a smug ass.
You've immersed yourself.
My God,
too much.
it's like Superman and Lex Luthor, except Lex Luthor's a much worse person.
Oh yeah,
but he has his really good attributes. They just don't make up for his bad attributes. That's what it is.
they don't report those.
That'd be great.
So we meet Shonuff, and he is played by Julius J. Curry III, the Shogun of Harlem. And basically, he's just this over-characterized, ridiculously garbed.
What I know him from? I mean, I know he's been in like a bunch
He's
of.
Lord Bowler from fucking Briscoe County Jr. That's what I always.
I've
That's what
never
I
seen
loved
that.
him from.
Okay, what else?
He was in Boy Meets World.
I
Yeah,
know.
he's done a number-
I
he's
know
done a
he.
lot of TV
I know
shows.
he's not the Allstate guy. That's pretty rare.
No, he's not the Allstate guy. No.
No, he's definitely not that guy.
Shonuff is the only villain you need in this. You need to go super
That's
campy,
true.
and that's all you need. You don't need the
that was
rich white guy trying to get his girl to sing. I mean, you could find someone else to work vanity into the plot.
Ugly
but-
Cindy Lauper.
Yeah.
Weird.
Cindy Lauper's grandmother.
That's Butterface. Like, it's weird because she doesn't have, like, her body does not match, like, what her head
No.
looks like.
Her body, when they were in the first scene in the room, it was like, okay. And then she's in the music video, and I'm like, whoa, she was not that thin
like,
in that room.
Yeah, like, did they put her head on somebody? What did they do to her? Because she's really thin.
Her head looks like it's full of potatoes, but the rest of her does not match. She had some kind of potato injection surgery or something. I don't understand.
I think this movie suffers from like one villain too many that don't crisscross enough if they're going to team up. And I mean, Shonuff is like your guy. You're doing this, black kung fu movie.
Yeah.
He's he's the guy terrorizing the town. Like, make the rivalry there, make something happen more there, but they don't want to go there.
I want to know what actually started the fight because we have no idea why he hates him so bad besides people just talking about him. Because at some point someone told him a story that Bruce Leroy caught a bullet with his teeth. Yeah. And that pissed him off.
Hey, it's true.
It's not like Bruce Leroy wants turf or anything.
Right.
He's just literally minding his own business,
maybe
trying to watch a movie.
I'm just trying to eat my popcorn with my chopsticks and watch this movie, and your ass
I
comes in.
can't hear a damn word Bruce Lee is saying because there's a boombox back there. We all love to barge, but please.
Hey, as we know right now, some people just all they worry about is being confirmed the best, and maybe that's all.
They just want to see the world burn.
Yes,
That's
that's
true.
all that matters.
So the
Period.
other bad guy in the movie is Eddie Arcadian, an arcade owner who's slash producer slash boxing mogul
Slash mob leader.
mobster. Yeah, like this dude's got more jobs than Corey's house has fish.
I've seen him. There's a lot of fish there.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And he also has a fish tank with something in it. We're not quite sure
I
what
just
the hell
thought
that thing
piranha.
is.
I was like,
Yeah,
it was,
that's
it was
what I
around
thought
this
too.
time.
But he refers to it as that thing, not like those things. He said, "Get that thing out of here."
And it looked like it had hair on it, too.
I don't know what it was.
Or made of a mop or something. And guess what, folks? We don't know what the hell it is.
No,
Never.
no.
It is never explained. It's not even critical to the plot.
It's just a muck monster.
Yeah, exactly. They probably had an aquarium aquarium, but they didn't want to keep the water clean the whole time, so it's like, screw it, let it get all gross, and then we'll use it. We'll say there's a monster in it. Great, let's go.
Oh, sounds good. All right.
It was part of the set that they couldn't get rid of, so they just filled it up with water and put shit in it.
Put a bunch of pistachio pudding in there and water it down. It'd be awesome.
But the funny part is that arcade is exactly what 80s arcades were. All that neon, lights, all that stuff. The funny thing is, though, there was not one video game in there. All of the monitors in there were video monitors playing that stupid chick's music.
Yeah. I saw a Galaga box.
Yeah, the box is there, but none of the screens had actual games in it. They didn't have the rights to play them, I guess, or didn't want to pay for it, so they just changed all
That's
the
where they all
monitors.
take an hour, and they walk out, for about 5 minutes, watch this video, and then they can go play games again.
Hey, the ultimate movie arcade of the era was the Shredders arcade and skate park.
Yeah.
That's the best one. I would have joined the Foot Clan. I mean,
But
that place, that was awesome.
That place looks like something, like a 12-year-old.
But
Like, this would be the coolest place ever.
Ernie was only like this big in this movie, though. So
Oh, yeah,
he
that's
still
true.
had a while to go
Yeah.
before he was there. So Eddie Arcadian has a henchman who is a boxer named Rock. He has his girlfriend who I can't remember what the hell her name is, even though it's
Cindy
Angela
Lauper's grandma.
Angela Veracos. And she's got some pretty funny lines in the movie. Like she's kind of funny and it's kind of sad at the same
I
time.
know. I kind of felt bad for her.
She's
You
like one of
watch.
the appliances on the Flintstones. Like, I understand your role, but it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
She looks like she's that aunt that everybody she's such a great person. Shame she can't find a guy. She's got her cats though. So
All 99 of
Yeah.
them.
Oh, she can find the guy. She can't keep a guy.
yeah.
So he's
That aunt that takes you to the amusement park and we'll stand with you for the big roller coaster. She's just that aunt, which is not what you want in your lead sex symbol for the movie, right?
Wait.
Hold
Over
on a minute.
Vanity?
Hold on, I
Over
don't think
Vanity?
she was
Well, I
supposed to
mean,
be
but
the
like-
sex symbol.
Well, but that's how Eddie saw her.
Yeah,
in
right.
Arcadia.
And
Yeah.
she's white.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah, I
gonna
don't
get
think-
first billing.
I don't know if you noticed, but almost everybody in there was mixed race.
Yeah.
What was she mixed with? White and clear?
Canadian. White and Canadian.
She's Canadian German.
Yeah. Someone had sex with Frosty the Snowman, and that woman resulted.
There you go. So, Eddie is trying to force Vanity into putting his girlfriend on her show for some reason because her cable access show is doing so well. I don't even know if it's a main station, but that's what he wants.
New York is the #1 market.
Right. Yeah.
So-
She won't agree to it because she thinks her shit is crap. When they finally do kidnap her properly the first time, they sit her down, tape her eyelids open, and make her watch one of the videos, which was I found your porn magazines or something like that was the name of the song. At least that was the
Oh,
basis
yeah.
of the
Yeah.
Nasty Girls or
Na-
Nasty
No,
Boys?
Nasty Mags or Nasty Books or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever it was horrible.
Which Vanity had a song called Nasty Girls.
Yes, she did.
Vanity Sticks, so maybe that was a...
So maybe that was an ode to.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You'll make this.
felt like watching that video.
Yeah, you'll make this song better because we did such a poor job of it.
This is how it was supposed to really be.
Well,
Yeah,
you know
but-
what's funny is later on when Shonuff goes to the pizza place looking for Leroy, the video is playing in the pizza place. So what happened
In
there?
that same video game that was filled, that the arcade was filled
Yeah,
with. So.
right.
Yeah, so I'm like, why is this pizza place
Like,
showing
is this,
the video?
does this take place in some weird alternate dimension where there aren't video games, but people go to arcades to watch music?
They were
videos?
there. I mean, those things are out now. They have the video what do they call video jukeboxes that
That's
look
true.
unfortunately like those things. So he was ahead of his time.
Maybe
Arcadian
that's-
was getting it done.
Maybe that's what it is, but there were just so many of them
Yeah.
at Arcadia that it didn't matter that they had video games.
But he did have a pinball machine at Papa Green's. So I mean a pinball machine. So
Keeping it old school.
right.
exactly. So he's trying to force her into putting her on the show. And when he sees her get kidnapped outside of the show, because they had a video truck or something that they suckered her into,
Yeah.
because she had to leave her building for a sound check that has all the sound equipment that she could possibly need in it. in there, but she had to leave to go get in a truck to do a sound check, and she didn't question it at all and got kidnapped, and they took her back to Eddie's.
Like she's going out there to expecting to tow cable, and then she gets kidnapped.
Exactly. Meanwhile, they see this happen because Leroy is sitting outside the door trying to wait for his brother to break into the place when he walked past the door that was already open. Because the stage door she came out of never closed. So he kind of chases him down a little bit. They drop the clipboard that said Eddie Arcadian's Arcade, so he tracked them down.
Why would he have his letterhead at the scene of a crime?
Well, why was he even carrying it in the first place?
Because he had to make himself look like he was a production guy.
Okay,
Was it the bad guy's to-do list?
Kidnap.
Steal truck, check. Find
2.
outfits, check.
Step 3, eat whole chicken, check.
Steal girl, check. I dropped it. Leroy tracks him down in record time. Shows up in his Leroy ninja outfit because apparently not only is he a kung fu expert, but he's a ninja as well.
Why not?
He comes in and kicks all their asses. He literally starts chucking ninja stars at bad guys. So he's not as you look at this guy like, oh, he's a fucking nimwit, but then he's fucking hucking ninja stars like a pro.
He's like that autistic kid that could just nail Dance Dance Revolution.
And by the way, huck is a real word. Just so to remind Corey.
I didn't.
Oh, yeah, you did. You challenged it. It's on a show. That's not a real word. I'm like, yes,
I
it
did.
is. Yeah, both of you motherfuckers. You're like, that's not a real word. I'm like, yes, it is. I can even tell you which one it was. It was the basketball episode.
So you can huck and chuck something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
huck on that.
Fuck, it is. Fuck, huck is a real
I
word.
told you.
Throw something. That's what the
Exactly.
definition is.
The most educational part of the show.
It's actually heck. Right?
5 educated people. That's the most educational thing on the show. Huck is a word. Anyway, there's this guy called Show Nuff, who's the Shogun of Harlem.
Did you ever notice why he might be pissed off is because his logo for his gang is a flower. It's that little white flower with a red thing in the middle. All of them are wearing it, and that's what's on all of the stuff.
I thought that
at
was
his
a
dojo.
Japanese flag.
I didn't.
No, it's a little flower. It's literally like a carnation.
I thought he was
thing.
like Wu-Tang. It was just
No.
really into the Asian
That's why he's in such a bad mood because he went and had someone make a logo. He
By
paid
the way,
for it,
Vic,
and that's what they
when
get.
you were growing
done a
up,
bit.
who was your Shogun of Harlem?
I didn't
Who
live
held the office
I
when you
didn't
were a
live in
child?
Harlem. I'm from Queens.
Oh, well. Who was the Shogun from Queens?
I don't think we had
Nas?
Actually, when I was there, it was LL Cool J
Oh, okay.
and Run DMC. You got a problem with LL Cool J?
That wasn't me.
That was me.
No, it was you. I
That
thought it was
was
him.
No.
When Corey was there, was Washington and Franklin.
It was 5 points, and they were still having
Ben
the battle.
Franklin was the Shogun of Harlem.
They still called
when
it
Corey
5
was a
points,
kid.
and they were having battles with machetes.
For sport.
So
His colony did really well.
he's one of the 5 rabbits. So he comes in throwing ninja stars and saves her from the bad guys, and escorts her home, where you really think she's looking to hit it with him. I don't know why he's even playing. So after she refuses to play, he saved her, takes her back to her house. She has the biggest fucking house in New York City because I know for a fact that apartment in just the size of the doorway they walked in is $1,200 in New York City. She's got the biggest house I've ever seen in the city ever.
Did you see her show? People want to get on that show.
I guess so.
This Legend 72?
Well, apparently nobody pays to get in because half of those
They pay
kids are in
$5.
there. They all got in the back way. So,
But you don't pay for nothing.
so he's
He's a mover
all
and a shaker at
excited.
13. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If his brother's 16, yeah, exactly. So we get introduced. Once he goes through, he's like, "I was looking for my medal," and she's like, "Oh, you mean the belt buckle thing?" She just busts him down. He's like, "Yeah." So she brings it out on a rope so he doesn't lose it anime. He gets nervous.
Like a medal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like an Olympic medal by the time she was done with it. She had some arts and craft time left over. So he gets nervous and dips out on her, and she's like, "What the fuck? I was going to sling it at him, and he just walked out."
I wish that was the dialogue. What the fuck? I was going to sling it at him. And then the rhythm
You talking
of
about
the plays.
slinging that
Slinging that pig.
that gash?
I watch a completely different movie than everybody else. In the room.
If the main character was the Shogun, it would be that kind of movie.
So we get introduced to his parents, Mama Green, Papa Green, baby sister Green, his brother, who is just completely disenfranchised with the whole family. It was like they all called the little girl something different, and the little girl was Keisha Knight Pulliam from
I thought that's
From Cosby
who that
Show,
was.
the
yeah.
Cosby Show. Yeah,
She's
she
Rudy.
was just little teeny tiny baby Rudy at that point.
Oh, yeah.
She was barely talking.
Yeah, that's proto Rudy.
So we had two Cosby,
Two people.
two Cosby show because Carl Anthony Payne
Yep.
Yeah.
as well was on that.
He was when he was a kid. I'm not sure if he was one of the friends. Yeah, he had to be one of the friends.
It's about
I
the
just don't know.
safest Cosby conversation that's been had in a year and a half.
You're right. Cosby's just sitting in wherever he's sitting and just like, man, I
So
wish they talk like that
I
all
can
the
make
time.
it dark because at one point, one of the
Here we
characters
go.
in this movie played a character on the Cosby Show when they were addressing date rape.
The main character, like Lamarck, whatever his name is in real life.
Tomorrow.
T-Mock.
Yeah, I was
Tamak?
way off.
Something.
Anyway, he was on a different world.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Wait, you trying to make him Lamarck?
Yeah.
Marcus.
Like, to be fair, none of those are a name, so it's pretty easy to forget what he's actually called.
Ooh, Vanity, come here, take a little drink of this here. It'll take you to 7-7. Zip, bip, bubbly doo, 16 counts of rape. All right, sorry. That's the fake limited Bill Cosby.
Continue on.
So we meet the family. We find out that Papa Green, and this is the second black man that owns a pizza shop in as many weeks, just about.
Oh, yeah. We had, what was it?
It was
the
in
dude
Dude,
from
Where's My
My
Car?
Car. What
Yeah.
was his name on there, though?
I don't remember.
I'm
And
gonna
we
look
just
it
called
up.
him the black dude.
The black guy with the pizza shop.
Well,
So,
he had like the weirdest. Remember, he had the weirdest name for a black dude.
I don't remember what it was.
I'm gonna put. I got it right here.
Samuel?
Samuel.
No, it was Mr. Pizzicoli.
Mr. Pizza Coley.
For the black dude that owns the pizza shop and Dude, Where's My Car? His name was Mr. Pizzicoli.
Well, at least it's just Papa Green's Pizza. So, they, like I said, they've got a pretty good life. So they're eating breakfast. He's talking. His little brother's talking all kinds of shit about him because he knows that he's in love with what's her name. He's like, he didn't know what to do if somebody tried to throw it at him, which apparently he doesn't because he ran away from it when she tried. So.
Perhaps it's just the scene we didn't see where she offered him crack. Which, by the way, wasn't in the script. It was just Vanity going, you want to smoke some crack before this scene?
Vanity, we're shooting right now.
It'll loosen you up.
Behind the scenes.
Oh, those are on?
We're shooting. Who's got a needle?
If you can just wait.
This is not whack.
If you can just wait 15 minutes, Vanity, we have to complete the last shot of the day. I need crack! Every day on the set.
Come on, let's go do some crack.
So his little brother and him go to open up the pizza shop, and his brother starts talking to him about him not knowing how to make the moves, which then puts Leroy in the mood to learn about making the moves. And it gets kind of weird at that point because basically from then on, all he does is like try to talk Vanity into showing him what the moves are.
We've been talking about the glow the whole time. He needed to know about the goo.
That's how everyone else becomes the master.
Exactly.
But I forgot my train of thought. Never mind. It's not important. I'll probably come back to it.
So Arcadian is pissed off because this guy keeps busting in and saving her, and he can't get what he wants out of her, which is to get his weird girlfriend on her show. I just want a music video. So he kidnaps her. He hires a bunch of thugs. He holds, I guess, an open audition for the baddest dudes in town, and
In the
everyone
arcade.
shows
Tryouts.
up. Yeah.
Once I saw him, I didn't need to see anyone else. I was like, send him away. I saw him. He is the best. He is going to be the greatest. He is amazing. His name is Shonuff.
Make sure he pays for that table. So he hires everybody and their mom, and apparently nobody, like, this was a no-cut audition because he hired all of them because they all showed up at the station once he got his hands on her again.
He's just like, well, we got room in the truck, so everyone
Right.
just hop in.
And the limo and the truck they stole and
Yeah,
the van. So and then on top, like, he went out and found Shonuff to hire him. Like, Shonuff didn't go to him; he went to Shonuff.
No,
Shonuff,
You don't.
No.
Shonuff don't come to you. You go to Shonuff.
The boxer dude found him.
yeah, but he still went to Shonuff with the case, and the money
Yeah.
was like, I want to hire you to do this. And he's like, you keep your money. I would have been like, no, give me the money too. I'll take that and I'll go kick his ass for you.
I was doing this anyway. I mean,
That's why you're never going to become anything more than the Shogun of Harlem.
You never think outside of this box. So
why even hire? Like showing up, like
I was waiting for Luke
I'm
Cage
your
to show up.
competition.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Luke Cage to show up
There
and
you
kick
go.
his ass. But he comes, he kidnaps her again for like the umpteenth time and takes her to her own studio.
Yeah, it's like, I'm coming here anyway.
Yeah. I'm just going to take you, kidnap you and bring you
Yeah,
here.
then it goes from a kidnapping to just a ride.
You ride to work, yeah. Carpooling, forced
Just saved a couple
carpooling.
dollars.
Yeah.
This isn't a felony, it's a favor.
You were 15 minutes early.
Yeah, I have shopping to do, but I mean, I guess I'm at work now, so start working.
So he starts playing around with all of her equipment and thinks it's the best thing in the world, and masters it by the time Leroy shows up. Because he shows up to save her.
Shows up late. Surprise.
All right.
That's our Leroy.
That's more of the Leroy than the Bruce.
So he shows up, and all of the bad guys are there, and they all do the typical, we're all going to attack one by one instead of all as a group to kick your ass, and he beats them all somehow.
The Seagal
Question
method.
mark. Yeah. Well, it was funny because the two guys, like two of the guys were dressed exactly alike but opposite colors at the end, and they jumped onto him, and he like hit one of them and the other one fell. So it was like a scene from Double Dragon where he kills him. So jump in then, stop fucking sticking me. I'm not gonna.
This is your cue to go through the plot faster,
You
Vince.
will not tell me what to do. I am the Shogun of Showdown.
It is funnier.
Show enough.
It is funnier when you start going fast.
Boy, you guys,
But I trip over myself. I can't do it.
you guys are really
It's
killing
funny.
my levels over here.
You always have to call him the Shogun of the Showdown.
Yeah, the Shogun of Showdown.
That's the best name.
The Shogun of Showdown. Yep.
They say don't give yourself a nickname, but God, what the hell?
on
I
that one, huh?
love that.
So like every episode, it's the Shogun
I'm just calling you
of
Shogun.
Showdown,
Nice.
and then Corey, to make sure he's paying attention, has to go show enough. And then you add fake laughter.
Who's the blackest on the showdown?
That's BLAQ. So he goes through and they all attack him. He fights with what's his name? Pulls out his gun. Rock pulls out his boss's gun and tries to shoot him, and he's like, "No, put that away. Just shoot the dude. If you want him gone, shoot him." Like, why are we having this whole issue? So he drags her off to like another part of the building that apparently is not renovated yet, and holds her hostage while and Bruce Leroy goes after her, and he gets jumped by the Shogun of Harlem, and we find out that he has the
glow.
evil glow.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like the mega
negative.
glow. I don't know what it is, but apparently
I thought
his
you said that.
hands.
Yes.
For the record, Vic said that.
And I did say nega, not nigga.
I heard
Just so we understand each other. Though I
Just-
can drop that M-bomb if I
Hey,
want to.
you can quote the movie. The movie does say
That
it,
is
so
true.
You could
Yeah.
quote.
That is true.
Yeah, I was looking at for like the recast, and I was like, well, we can't do that quote. I mean, one of us could.
Miley Cyrus doing that would be bad.
Yeah.
So he fights off all the bad guys. He ends up in a fight with Shonuff. And Shonuff shows that he has the glow of some sort and starts to kick Leroy's ass. And beats him down to basically an inch of his life. Starts to
he dunks his head in the water.
yeah, he starts
He's
to like
who's the-
drown him.
Who's the master?
Well, he starts to drown him, and he like starts having a flashback. So I guess that was his life flashing before his eyes. So was he
Well,
about to die?
he just finally started listening to people. It's like, wait a minute, if I'm not obsessed with everything else, I
Right.
can
Let me
focus.
backtrack through the film a bit.
Let me rewind.
Here,
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that, and he said I was the master. And
It was like the sitcom equivalent of, hey, do you remember the time we all went to and the but it's a movie.
so after the fourth extendedly long dunking in the water, he tries to dunk him again, and he stands up and he says, "Who's the master?" And he says, "I am," and he gets the glow.
That's fantastic.
And he basically beats the living shit out of Shonuff.
I think the glow was just him hanging out with Vanity before the show. You want the glow?
Right before
This should have made you feel like you're on
1980s
fire.
Vanity, I'd go to. I'd find the glow. 1980s Vanity.
it's
That'd
like,
be real
here,
fast.
have a hit of this, you'll beat him.
Yeah.
You won't feel a thing.
Super fast.
So he takes down Shonuff, and the arcade guy tries to. He's like, "Fuck it! If these guys, I hired 15 guys, spent all this money, and none of y'all motherfuckers can take them down. I got a 45 that'll stop this kung fu bullshit." He fires at him, and
he catches
the
it
dragon
with his
goes
teeth.
down. And Eddie goes over to kick to make sure that he's dead, because you always got to make sure that it's dead. He rolls him over and he smiles and has the bullet between his teeth.
Was anyone else disappointed that he didn't spit the
I
bullet
wanted
at
that.
Eddie?
I was like, yes.
like whatever flaws this movie had, that would make up for it. I just scream it, fuck again!
I think like if the bullet had the glow around it, they wouldn't have to explain anything.
Yeah, right.
It's
Exactly.
He concentrated the glow around the bullet and just shot him with it.
Yeah. Looks like it went into the wrong hands, doesn't it?
So
it's like Highlander. He got evil once he absorbed show enough powers.
He absorbed it. There can be only one. So he ends Arcadian's reign of terror on his girlfriend and no one else.
It was the Shogun that destroyed the pizza shop.
Yeah,
so it's not even,
I'm telling you, Arcadian's there's nothing bad about this guy besides the fact he keeps kidnapping minor pop stars.
This is why we only need Shonuff.
Because he wants to air his girlfriend's video. And so he kids up the host. I got news for you, everyone. The host doesn't decide what plays. That's a producer.
Right.
She might have influence.
And that's the worst part. He was a producer.
That's what I thought. He was a producer, so he should know that.
Yeah.
And the people that wrote this movie work in the music industry.
If
so
he
they
had the
should
money
know
to go record, mix that song, go shoot a video,
Right.
produce that video, he has money to influence people to
Put
just
it
go,
onto
hey,
all
put it on
the
there.
screens in his arcade, which equivalent was more than what she had in her building.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Annoy the
Funded
kids.
by Motown. Oh, my God.
So the show and the movie ends with her back in her thing. Everyone is in white because for whatever reason, black people have to have a white party at the end of everything.
It's the color of power.
Hey, Diddy has them as well.
Oh, I know. That's where this is where he got it from. So everyone shows up. And she's in her all-white outfit. The little brother's in his all-white outfit, including his white painter's cap. And slowly but surely, he walks in with white flowers, and he proclaims his love as loudly as possible. And she turns the music off in a dick move, right as he says, "I want you to teach me the moves." What a bitch!
Roll credits.
And he knows the moves from his 13-year-old
Right.
brother. This guy's got to be
In a very odd
In his
conversation, a very odd conversation with her in a car, in which she said, "I'd like to put the moves on you." Like she was opening the door for him.
Yeah.
Like, here you go.
she was thirsty.
Like all she needed to do was like wrap her leg around her neck and be like, "Here we go," and it would have been done. But no, he's just like, I gotta go.
She's like a Kermit meme, you know? She's like, me, I should put the moves on him. Other me, he looks like he's 14.
I should put the moves on him. Me, maybe you should go after his brother. He seems to know what he's doing.
No, it should be me. He looks a little young, like he's 14. Other me, tell him to put the moves on him. Tell him he's got the glow.
Give me the glow.
Have you heard about his moves? That's all they talk about on the corner.
So that is how our show ends.
Not our show.
It's how the movie
Not
ends.
our show.
okay,
That's
okay.
how the movie
That's how
ends.
the movie ends.
And we're going to take a quick commercial break. You're listening to the 3-time award-winning Showdown podcast.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's commercial time. We're going to let our guests, Brandon and Colin, go first. Go ahead, guys.
You can find us on Facebook, Cult Cinema Cavalcade, or Twitter is CC Cavalcade.
We're on iTunes, and we have a website, cultcinemacavalcade.com. Mail at cultcinemacavalcade.com if you still email stuff. We like emails.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Twitter? At CC Cavalcade.
Vic?
You can find me at MillerKing51 on social media, or Black and Angry. That's BLAQ and Angry on all gaming platforms.
Brad?
You can find me at BradScottComedy.com, at Brad Scott Comedy on Instagram and Twitter, comedian Brad Scott on Facebook. Find the show at The Showdown Podcast on Twitter and The Showdown Podcast on Facebook. Click like somebody should. Corey?
You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at MKOGonzo.
And now back to the show. Welcome back to the 3-time award-winning Showdown podcast. We are joined for this episode with the Cult Cinema Cavalcade, Brandon Peters and Colin Bricker. And we have deliberated and made a decision, so now it's time to go around the room and see if The Last Dragon from 1985 holds up in Trump's America.
Well, the answer is no all the way around. Right there. Jeez.
No pressure.
I'm going to get rid of all the dragons. I'm going to build a wall.
Arcadia was great.
He
was the best arcade owner.
Here we're down to the last dragon.
All right, let's start with Vic, who made it obvious of his decision at the beginning of the show. So, Vic, go ahead and tell people that it survives.
So watching this show, watching this movie, shut the hell up. So watching this movie, I remember watching it and being enthralled with it as a kid and loving every minute of it. And watching it now, I'm like, there's just some stupid shit that happened in this movie. How did I not see all of this shit that was wrong with this movie? But even with all that shit, it was still funny as shit. It makes it for me.
All right, Brandon.
I didn't have the childhood experience with it. A lot of people did. I mean, this is a pretty popular movie. It's a cult following one. But with me watching it, so I don't have the nostalgia factor. It's got some good music. It's fun. It's got one bad guy too many. And then it kind of, I don't know, starts out in one way and winds its way to another. But I'm going to go on the lighter side of still being down with it. It's got a lot of charm to it.
So that is 2. All right. Colin?
I agree with Brandon. There are too many villains in this thing, and like the tone.
He's wearing a shirt that says villain because this isn't a visual medium. You just sounded like an evil person.
Or I could have just been whispering, "There's nothing wrong with villains."
Maybe he's trying to seduce me to something
You
I don't
guys
want
should
to
see
do.
a villain. Let me show you this
trying
picture
him
I
to
found.
Pull him to the black side.
That's right. If I was going to say, talking about the villains and the tone of this thing. It seems like when a Show Enough walks in, like, oh, it's going to be campy, it's going to be goofy, it's going to be over the top. And then when Show Enough isn't around, it's not as campy and goofy. It's like, why do you look like that if you're not like, it's a goofball movie? I mean, not to be super goofball, whatever, but it seemed like it should have been goofier and sillier and campier with him in it, and the rest, and Bruce Leroy stiff acting, whatever. But the tone was so weird. It just felt like it didn't have enough of either being serious or campy or whatever. So that was what bothered me. I think. No, I'm not down with it. It's
All right, that is a no. Corey, you're going to go after me.
Had to get it in there.
It is. I agree. I thought the same thing. Didn't care for the second villain, and I felt like it was trying to be something. It was trying to be two things, like you said, at once. Yeah. And I think had it gone one direction.
If it was like John Carpenter's, Last Dragon, if it was like that kind of spirit to it.
And here's how I decided to go into it and measure it. Was like, did I like it more than No Retreat, No Surrender? And then not once was a scene with not once did we have Bruce Leroy doing squat thrusts with an Asian guy on his penis. So
come on,
there was no Asian rollerblading and dribbling a basketball at the same time with a boombox on his shoulder. So the movie does not hold up for me as well. And I thought it was a little too long.
Yeah, it did.
Should have been should have been an hour 20, hour and a half, absolute most. The hour 50 thing, just you take out that entire other subplot, and it's just shown up going after him.
Or you take out a couple of the extra music videos.
It needed to just be campy.
Exactly.
It just needed. That's why I said
too many music videos.
Like I said, I was on the lighter. It had just enough for me to be okay.
Which is perfect because now it's 2-2.
Yes.
And it comes down.
It's down to me.
To Corey.
This is. I've got a lot of pressure on me right now. I mean, which way do I go?
Just think of all the shit he gives.
The way
you
where
about
you tell us.
So
There's your answer.
So-
Power isn't within you. That would be, just look in yourself. That's all the master had to do.
Does
Look in
Corey-
yourself.
Does Corey have the glow or no?
He's
See,
got like 10 bags of fortune
I'm
cookies around here somewhere.
I'm saving him a journey that will take days. He's looking at himself, and now he has the answer.
He-
Much better.
He's gonna keep it to himself as long as he can.
He has a glow quite often, but that's just from the cross down at his new neighbor's house that he set up.
He's like, so The Last Dragon is this movie, right? And
I've always
We
liked.
know how much you like blaxploitation.
Yeah, I do. I really do. And I this movie holds up for me. I thought it was. I always think it's
Way
funny.
to really play on the suspense, Corey. Excellent work by you.
Well, what I'm about to say was going to give it away anyway. I think the campiness of it is there. Sure, yeah, there are some scenes where it's not as campy, but you kind of take it for what it is. But there's so much stuff that's just like you question yourself, what is going on? Just like with the whole show enough coming into the pizza place and just going crazy, and it's I just thought it's so campy enough for me to enjoy it, and it's so bad it's good. So it holds up for me, and it's going in to the Hall of Fame. It is a Survivor.
All right. It goes into the Hall of Fame.
It is.
It is certified Showdown fresh. Barely.
it is The Last Dragon going in the Hall of Fame. No
Yes,
more
it
dragons
is.
will go.
No more dragons permitted.
By law, you can't do it.
Oh, hold on a second there, Brandon. That is that deserves. Yeah, hold on. There we go. I don't know if you heard that. That's high praise around here.
Yeah, it is.
That's a pretty
You
damn
look
good
at
joke.
us.
See, Corey, that's what you should be doing on episodes, making funny jokes like that
I do.
instead of ruining segments.
The best part is that Survivor comes from Soul Plane,
Oh, no. Oh, God.
which he lost.
Hey, Vic, what is Soul Plane?
Hasn't
It's great. It's what makes all the money.
the
Soul
country
Plane
been
makes
through
all the
enough
money.
in the past few weeks?
I know, Corey. I know.
You have my chord. I don't even want to hear it. Otherwise, I'd play it.
You could at least have said it.
Soul Plane
He has-
makes all the money.
Soul Plane is the reason for all the success, Vic. He had a quote of Kevin Hart saying that he played 25 times through the episode. And I call it back to him one time. God, both of you. Jesus. If I wasn't here, this show would be awful.
Are we fired?
Yeah. That's another show.
No one has ever said.
He said this was an interview.
So when are we going to talk about it?
Not to tell them.
So go ahead, Corey.
No one has ever said Soul Plane makes all the money. In the history of the world, no one has ever said.
There it is.
It's been said.
So Brad, I was sitting here thinking while we were watching the movie.
What were you thinking, Corey?
I was thinking it should be recast.
Who did you have in mind?
I mean, they've talked about for the last several years about redoing it with Samuel L. Jackson playing Sho'nuff.
I don't
down
agree
for
with
that.
that.
Yeah.
I'm down
No.
for it. Nope,
No.
I'm down for it.
It's not that he's okay. He's great, but he's not perfect.
1998, maybe we watch him play Shona.
Yeah.
He's not perfect for it. There's one person who's perfect for a remake.
Who do you think?
You say B. Arthur.
No, I'm saying Miley Cyrus. If anybody's going to be your new show enough, it's got to be Miley Cyrus. And then we actually have a clip of her reading for the remake.
We found this. I looked on YouTube and I did find a clip for it. Here, I'll go ahead and play it right now.
Last Dragon casting, Miley Cyrus for show enough. Take one. Am I the meanest?
Show enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Show enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town, buddy?
Show enough.
Well, who am I?
Show enough.
Who am I?
Show enough.
I can't hear you, buddy.
Show enough.
And scene. All right.
That was pretty good. I don't see why that they didn't cast her.
So that is
Send me that link.
that is the definition of a bit dying. Right there. That we just heard the death of the Miley Cyrus character on the Showdown. That is her
recast that
final
part.
recasting. So so The Last Dragon goes into the Showdown Hall of Fame, which I believe is actually is actually the highest honor that this movie has ever had. All right, that's the show. For Corey Miller, Vic Miller, our friends from the Cult Cinema Cavalcade, please check them out on iTunes, Brandon Peters, and Colin Bricker. I am Brad Scott. You have been listening to the Showdown Podcast.
Show enough.
Last Dragon goes into the Hall of Fame. How about that?
Yep.
All right, so join us for...
And one other thing, we got our password back on Instagram, so you can actually start seeing our Hall of Fame pics.
Yes.
So be sure to follow us on Instagram.
Please follow us on Instagram. We have all the highlights from previous episodes on there, so you can go through and find out what you want to watch or listen to. Excuse me. So, again, for the Showdown Podcast, for the Cult Cinema Cavalcade Podcast, we will talk to you next time.
You're reaching for the finish line. You dig down deep, decide to find. You've really gotta want it. The strength that you need, the will to succeed. This is it. It's for him and for you. Hey, I'm proud of you. Really proud. A Coke. The biggest cake in China. Race. Who's your coach? My dad.